What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your review for the Real House. Oh, no, it's not. We're not doing Real Housewives. This is Married to Medicine LA, a season 2, episode 3. Are we on 3 or 4?
Three.
3. Oh, thank you. So we start this episode off. We are Miss Kendra is hanging out with Dr. Britton. Well, Dr. Kendra, excuse me, is hanging out with Dr. Britton. They're on their way to do some shopping because she's just recently moved into her home and she's going to furnish it. And her and Britton are having a conversation, and she was like, the first thing she said was, "Yeah, well, I thought baby." She said, "Yeah, I'm really not getting a lot of sleep. I thought baby slept," and I was like, "Now I don't have no children." But I know babies don't sleep. Like, that's the one thing you always hear parents talk about, especially mothers talk about how sleep deprived they are, how the babies get waking up every 2 to 3 hours to eat, like, especially if they're being breastfed. So I'm just like, who told you that lie? And she said, as a doctor, yes, I'm an OBGYN, but, at home, I'm an intern because I just don't know. And I'm thinking to myself, that's, to me, no, Dr. Kendra, now, I feel like I like you, girl, but to me, that's taking it beyond you just not knowing that you know babies don't sleep, child. But she is struggling a little bit, which a lot of new mothers struggle. I mean, all of my friends who have had children have all gone through that moment, and it's not always as deep as being having postpartum depression or anything like that, but there's always that struggle, there's always that adjustment, whether you are married or whether you're single, whatever. We learn a little bit more about her lineage. Her mom, well, we already know her mom is from Vietnam. Her dad was in the military. They met. Her dad was stationed in Saigon, and when he came back after, I'm assuming, the fall of Saigon, he brought her home. They got married. Probably got married first. Anyway, and Miss Kendra came to be. She said, so she grew up in a very strict household. On one side, you had the military, and then of course we know her mom was very strict. She was telling us. Britton, we already knew Britton was biracial, but her dad was black and her mom was black and her dad was Polish. And so they sort of bonded a little bit on that whole, both of them coming from that mixed heritage struggle, in different ways, I'm sure. We get to meet her mom, and can I tell you I love her mom? I love Kendra's mom. Okay? I, I'm really, Kendra's mom was funny to me. They got to talking about, she was showing her mom the new house and everything, and she was saying, I'm having a little housewarming. I don't know why on these shows they can't just use basic language for the basic shit. It was a housewarming. That's what it was. They come up with all these special names to say these special things. It was a housewarming. Anyway, and she was saying she wanted Vietnamese food, and her mother was like, she was like, a lot of people don't get Vietnamese food. Her mama was like, this LA. I know they get Vietnamese. She was like, no, not real Vietnamese food. Her mama was like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. You just want me to cook. So they got to talking about the breast milk situation. And her mother was like, look, she said, listen, I believe that you can have it all. Like that, you can be mama, you can be work, you can be wife, you can be all these wonderful things you want to be, but you can't do it while you're breastfeeding. She was like, listen, there's nothing wrong with a little Similac. And I thought it was very interesting to me that she said that her mom, in the area in which her mom grew up, in her culture, they didn't stress or value breast milk, and I'm sure there's a reason behind it that I'm sure my brain will make me research and figure it out. Because I was very shocked by that. I was very, very shocked that her mother was so adamant that breast milk isn't important. And it was funny because she was arguing with her mom, right? Well, not bad, but they were going back and forth. And her mother was like, you can be smart and still, you can not have not have breast milk and still be smart. And her mother was like, how do you know? Kendra was like, how you know that? She was like, Steve Jobs. Here go her mama. Here go Kendra. How you know Steve Jobs didn't have breast milk? Her mother was like, because he was adopted. Stopped her dead in her tracks. She was like, oh, okay. Like, what you gonna say to that? I was loving her mama. I was feeling it. So, Shanique is still struggling with this whole, she wants to change her career thing. And, she wants to get into real estate. She has a real estate license, and she, of course, wants to do high-end real estate. She doesn't want to do just, regular quote-unquote home. She wants to get into the high-end of part of it. Of course, she hasn't talked to her husband about it yet because, she ain't ready to really approach it. Now, what I didn't understand was why she talked to her kids before she talked to him. I always have a problem, or I'm always very cautious of putting kids in the middle of adult situations. That's a conversation that is going to be sticky with you and your husband. That's a conversation that is going to probably be an ongoing thing between you and your husband. I didn't think it was necessarily fair to put the kids in the middle. I know you may not have meant to put the kids in the middle, but I don't know. That's a small thing, but I think it could have potentially turned into a big thing, but whatever. So we also get to meet the other new member of the show, Miss Leah. We found out that Leah is not a doctor. Leah is married to a doctor. But her and Dr. Amani have lunch together, and Amani tells her, she says, look, she was like, but, Leah's not your typical doctor's wife, quote unquote. She has multiple businesses. She's out there doing her own thing. She's like a boss on her own without her husband's money kind of thing. I understood what Dr. Monty was saying, but y'all already know how that's going to play back at the reunion if they have a reunion this season. Y'all know how that's going to play back. Y'all know people ain't going to be feeling that little comment, but I understood. Y'all know what she meant by it, and I understood what she was trying to say. So while they're talking, the conversation comes up about what Shanique and Jasmine was saying last week at the party in reference to Dr. Monty's husband and why he's out of town and why everybody is so concerned and worried about what her husband's doing, where he is, and why he out of town. And Dr. Monty was like, girl, I know. She said, the whole conversation last season with Dr. Britton and her husband, are they separated? Are they going to get divorced? And she was like, I get it. I'm in that same situation this year where just because they don't see me with my husband or they don't know where my husband is, then all of a sudden it's, oh, are they still together? Oh, they must be getting separated. Oh, it must be trouble in paradise. She said, so I understand that that's what people think. She said, so, Britain went through it last year. I guess it's my turn to go through it this year. She said, but my husband is out making money. Period. And I just feel like, I said this last week. Anyway, we'll get there, child. We'll get there. So, they seem to hit it off. She actually knows her because her husband works where she works. So, they know each other through her husband. And so, yeah. So, they have that's their bond there. So, we get to Shanique and Jasmine. Messy 1, messy 2. They're getting ready for the party, and first of all, I guess the theme was like garden party theme, I'm assuming, because when Amani and Britton meet up, both of them have on like cocktail dresses, and they mentioned, I think it was Dr. Amani said, well, this is my garden attire. I'm assuming that was like the invitation. So the first thing is we see Miss Jasmine and Miss Shanique figuring out their outfits. Shanique is wearing jeans and a top. Jasmine is wearing some fake python snake skin pants and a halter top. But I'm like, that is not garden attire. Girl, what garden party you done been to looking like that? That ain't how you dress for no garden party. Anyway, back over to Dr. Kendra house, honey. She getting ready for the party. And this is why I was telling y'all, listen, her mama was she brought a chef in to cook the Vietnamese food, but had her mom in the kitchen to help him out. And listen, mama was not feeling Chef Boyardee, okay? Mama told him he didn't wash his rice. She said, he was like, well, I don't wash my rice because then you can wash off it's sticky rice. And if you wash off all of the starch, then it's not going to stick right. Here go, mama. I wash my rice all the time. I don't have no problems with my sticky rice sticking. Then he was cooking the noodles, and he was going to take the noodles off. Mama was like, these noodles not ready yet. They not ready yet. Girl, he was not feeling her at all. Dr. Kendra came back talking about something. How's it going, sleeping with my, cooking with my mom? He was like, it's been enlightening. Kendra, you knew what you was doing leaving your mama in that kitchen. You just didn't want her getting on your nerves. Because you getting on your nerves. You knew what you was doing leaving your mama with that man. I hope you tipped him good. But it was funny for me to watch because I thought it was hilarious because she was not playing with him. Okay. Anyway, Shanique and Jasmine are over to the house and they talking about how fake Dr. Amani has been and how they talked and they agreed that they was going to be cool, but Dr. Amani hasn't reached out to her and she's reached out to her multiple times and she doesn't call her back and she's not really trying to be her friend. Here's the thing, Jasmine. She's not. She apologized to you because she probably in retrospect didn't mean for you to take the comment she said the way you took it, because I think she meant what she said. That's how she felt about what your house looked like, but she didn't mean for it to blow up to what it blew up to, and she didn't mean to offend you. So there's that. But at the end of the day, are you her cup of tea? Are you the kind of person that she would hang out with on a normal basis? Are you? Probably no. I'm just gonna say no for Dr. Amani. Okay, so at the end of the day, y'all apologized, y'all are cool now. But no, she don't want to be your friend. First of all, she work, you don't. I know you have your concierge service, baby, but okay, she work, you don't. At the end of the day, she's just not interested, and she's being polite about it. So for you to say she's being fake, she's not being fake. Dr. Amani does not come off to me as the kind of person that would apologize if she didn't mean it. Like, I really just don't feel like she's that person. But she's apologized not once but twice now. So I feel like she meant what she was saying when she apologized to you. But whatever, child. Then you was talking about, then y'all doing this whole thing about the husband situation. And what they played back the situation, they played back that conversation, and she told you it was a secret. She said, well, my husband is working on something. And you were like, well, can you tell me what he's working on? And she was like, well, no, it's a secret. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. But again, there are layers to friendship. There are layers to friendship. I have some friends that know my deepest, darkest secret. They know everything. I have some friends that don't know my damn last name. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. But what?
I know your deepest, darkest secret.
You do not know my... Go somewhere. That's my niece, child. You don't know my deepest, darkest secrets, child. Go somewhere. I have some people that I call a friend, right? That I wouldn't tell. They just at different levels. I mean, she done threw me off now. But you have different levels of friendship. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that you cool with when y'all see each other. Everything is everything. But that's not somebody you would hang out with outside of a group setting. And I feel like that's where Jasmine is. Like, it's a work situation for Dr. Amani. She told y'all that. So she's cool with Jasmine when they see each other, when they got to film, all of that. But as far as calling Jasmine and hanging up, Jasmine just ain't her cup of tea. And it's cool. And that doesn't make Dr. Amani fake, in my opinion. It don't make her fake. So anyway, she called herself, she gonna confront Dr. Amani, and she gonna, cause she don't like talking behind her back, so she gonna confront her about it. Anyway, child. So, Dr. Amani, Britton, and Mac, all right, they all hook up to go to the party together. Dr. Amani in her extra small dress. Anyway. But yeah, so, and they were talking about it again, Dr. Amani basically talking about, I don't understand why they so concerned, why they so worried about my situation with my husband. Like, it is what it is, when it's time for it to be told, I'll tell it. It ain't that serious. We also got a little mini history lesson as they were driving through, and they were talking about Baldwin Hills, right? It was Baldwin Hills, correct?
No, I think they were calling it Beverly.
Anyway, it was Black Beverly Hills, because back in the day, when you had celebrities in Hollywood, Ray Charles and Nat King Cole, people like that who could afford to live in Beverly Hills, but because of, segregation, they were not allowed to live in Beverly Hills. They created their own, high-end community with big, beautiful homes and a great view of the LA skyline, and they could see so that's where they moved into. That's where Dr. Kendra and her husband moved. They moved into Black Hollywood, Black Beverly Hills. Huh?
Off of Rodeo Drive.
Right, off of Rodeo Drive, because in the hood it's called Rodeo Drive, and Beverly Hills is Rodeo Drive. And listen, I said that too. I was like, it is spelled the same, so why is it pronounced differently? Anyway, child. Yeah, so, and just as a brief little history lesson, in a lot of cases, in a lot of neighborhoods, you had people, the Black professionals lived right next to the blue collar worker because they could afford to live in different areas of the city, But because of segregation, they weren't allowed to. And so in the black segregated community of a lot of big cities, you had everybody living there together. The doctors, the lawyers, the railroad workers, the teachers, the factory workers, they all lived together because they weren't allowed to move separately until we started getting into integration. But that's another conversation for another day, child. Anyway, but they made it. They moving on up like the Jeffersons. So we get to the party. Everybody's there. Everybody's having a good time. Everything is cool. And then Lil Miss, Shanique and Jasmine show up in their inappropriate outfits, child. And when they come in, Shanique, and Amani, they hug, and then Jasmine hugs Amani, and she looked real fake. She rolling her eyes and stuff, and I'm like, you don't want calling her fake, but to me, you look like you was fake. Anyway, the ladies, everybody's polite and everything is everything, and it's all good and cool. The guys do what they do. They kind of migrated outside. We got to meet her mom and dad. They both spoke, and her dad spoke well. He said, you are the company. Basically, he was like, you are the company that you keep. And I see that my daughter has some, keeps good company. You guys look really nice. Nice to meet everybody. We saw, oh shoot, I lost it. Oh, she let us know that she's a daddy's girl. Girl, I understand. I'm a daddy's girl too, child. I understand. And I don't know how much longer my niece is staying with me, but if she keeps it up, she's gonna be staying outside. Anyway, so we got to see the baby. That's a happy baby. Every time we see her son, he is just a smiling and giggling with that hair, honey. He's a cutie patootie. So her dad ends up taking the baby, so that they can have some adult time, as he put it. And then we get down to the nitty gritty, child. So Jasmine decided this was the appropriate time for her to address her issue with Dr. Amani. And she gonna tell Dr. Amani, I feel like your apology wasn't sincere. Y'all, when Dr. Amani laughed in her face, I said, that's how I feel about it. That's exactly how I feel about it, okay? She laughed all up in that woman's face. And I guess she was thinking, I don't know what else you want me to do. And she said, at this point, nothing's going to be good enough. Like, there's no apology that I can give is going to be good enough at this point. I don't know what you want from me. And so then she started, of course, Jasmine starts talking about how, you say you want us to be friends, but you have, I've reached out to you and you haven't, reciprocated, and, everything just seems so fake, and you won't even tell us what's going on with your husband. And Amani was like, listen, because my husband is out of town making money, and we are both in, Ebony Essence magazine this month, and he really didn't want me to say anything until it was made public. But yeah, he's in the cannabis business, so I guess I live in a drug dealer's house now. And that would have been a perfect opportunity for everybody to just laugh and move the fuck on. But no, Jasmine want to sit there and talk about something. I don't get it. You get it. You're not that big of a ditch. You get the damn joke. You get it. So you mean to tell me your husband's selling weed? So after all of that you put me and my family through last year, your husband is now selling weed? Yes. And he's probably getting ready to be a millionaire. Because there's a lot of money in the cannabis industry. Anyway, child. So they get to arguing back and forth. Then Leah was like, I'm not understanding why we still having this conversation. I'm just not. So Jasmine gets upset. They get to arguing. Jasmine gets upset, ends up walking off, honey. Kendrick goes after, doctor. I try to be polite. Try to be respectful. Dr. Kendrick goes after Miss Jasmine, honey. Why she gonna tell her husband go make them laugh? Bitch, why did he open up the drawer and pull out a microphone, and it was already mic'd up with the batteries queued up and everything? It was not like a regular karaoke mic. Like, it was a regular ass mic, honey. And he get to talking on the mic. Brittany was like, so we get ready to, is he getting ready to sing? Like, what is going on here? And then Brittany, you showed your age, because you said, I'll be sure. You showed your age. You showed your age, Dr. Brittany. Anyway, I was sitting there like, I know he did not just pull out a microphone and was ready. Like, when she said go entertain him, he was ready. He was on it. He was like, I'm on my way. Anyway, so Then Leah was just like, so why are we talking about it? Like, I feel like that happened last year. I feel like we've already apologized. When can we move on? So then Shanique messy ass want to start talking about, well, she was shading you, Dr. Kendra. She was shading you on Instagram. And Kendra was like, what? Like, how I get in this? I didn't have nothing to do. Come to find out, Kendra had on this outfit. I thought the outfit was cute. And Shanique and Leah were at lunch. They were scrolling through the gram and they saw the outfit she had on, and she said she looked like she about to take flight, because I guess she was saying she looked like an aviator. But she did, but I didn't think it was shady. Like, I wouldn't have took that as a shady comment. I would have took it as a joke and moved on. And that's what Dr. Amani was like. She was like, but was it a joke? Like, was she being cruel or was it just a joke? And then I felt so bad for Kendra, because Kendra felt the need to have to justify her outfit, which you didn't have to justify nothing. That was what the fuck you felt like putting on. It was in your closet and you was minding your business. She said, well, that was the only thing that I could fit. And I felt bad for her, because I know that that's hard. You losing the baby weight. You in between. You can't. I get it. But my thing is this. Like I said, you didn't have to explain yourself. That was what came out of your closet with your money. And I don't think Leah was being messy by making a comment. I think it was a joke. It wasn't that serious. It wasn't that big of a deal. But in that moment, I felt like Shanique was trying to deflect and off of her and throw it back at Leah, and it made you look real petty and it made you look real silly, because that was just ridiculous. Anyway, child, that was that. Shanique and her husband ended up leaving, and her husband told her that is not godly. Then told her, what did Michelle Obama tell you to do? I said, why are we bringing... Y'all gonna stop quoting Michelle Obama every time somebody get mad and start getting nasty. Stop quoting her. That ain't how she meant it. Like, people want to quote the Bible all the time. Just leave Michelle out of this. Michelle did not mean for her words to be quoted back at a Married to Medicine argument. Anyway, last but not least, child, Shanique and her husband are finally talking to him about wanting to change directions and get into real estate, and he basically is telling her Now, my only problem with that whole conversation was I felt like he was talking to a child and not talking to his wife. Like, I felt like the way he was talking to her was real disrespectful.
Those are, agreement snaps, because he was definitely talking to her like she was a kid. He said, come back to me when you get your plan together.
Right, he did tell her to go make a plan. She was like, well, I don't feel like my husband made a plan when he decided he was going to go to medical school. Like, I don't feel like that was how this whole conversation went. And I did feel bad for Shanique in that moment, because I feel like we had this situation last year, where, I feel like she held you down while you were going through medical school. And I feel like at this point, you need to hold her down, even if she goes out here to do real estate. And because he was like, she just wants to be real estate to the stars, and maybe she does, and maybe it will take time. Maybe it will take her some time to build up a clientele. Like, we know how the real estate business goes, but I feel like it's your job to support her. She supported you in being a doctor. I feel like it's now your turn to support her. And if that means that maybe y'all can't buy a couple of Louis Vuittons, or maybe y'all pushing Maserati sports cars and shit, like, I feel like you can afford to take a hit of her maybe taking a year off work. Like, even if you say, hey, let's make a go of it for a year, and if not, then we're gonna have to come up with something else. I think a year is a long enough time to try to sell some houses. She already has her license, so I think a year is a long enough time for y'all to see if y'all can make it work. And that's just my 2 cents. Anyway, I just felt like that was real messed up. I didn't like the way he was talking to her, but he ain't my husband. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.